chance to tap in with the kid before we start building on the subject matter for the day. Hopefully y'all having a powerful Monday morning, starting the week off on that positive, healthy, powerful, productive, efficient note. Hopefully y'all got about an hour or so to chop it up with the kid, listen to this bill. Y'all see the subject matter, man. External pleasure cannot heal internal pain. So that's what we dealing with today, man. So I'm gonna give everybody a chance to tap in with the kid before we start building. Everybody let me know how y'all feeling on this wonderful Monday morning, man. What's the word? How everybody living and feeling out here, man? It's a little heat wave on our end, but we gonna be good, man. We gonna stay hydrated. We gonna stay hydrated, stay with this AC on, and we good, we rocking. But what's the word? How everybody living and feeling, man? How everybody feeling? Montel, peace, what's happening with you, my brother? What's the word? What's the word? How we feeling? How we living? How we feeling, how we living, man. What's the word? Just got my workout in, man. Y'all know how it is. It was back day for the kid. Did some deadlifts, all that good stuff. Airview, peace, my brother. What's happening? Ray, peace. What's happening, man? What's the word? Get that workout in, man. I just hit my little heavy deadlifts, man. Back, a little bit of back today, man. So we good. Montel, right on. Your son, peace. What's happening? Dominique for sure, you know what I'm saying? Job 375. Yeah, but I just got my little workout in, man. We all good. Just ate a few bananas, you know, drank some water, so we good. We rolling. Of course, we're going to take care of that body first, man. We're going to take care of that mental, and we're going to take care of that physical. That's what we got to do. Priorities. Priorities out here, man. Priorities. But we dealing with the mental today, man. We dealing with the mental health, man. Like I said, I be seeing a lot of people struggling. Hey, I'm always fighting some battles, man, some internal struggles, man. So I just be liking to share the jewels, man, that I learned, man, through my fight with everybody, and just hopefully that helps you out on your journey. Joey the Serpent, peace. What's happening? What's the word? You know, because I feel like everybody, man, everybody is fighting. Everybody is going through whatever they going through, man. Everybody. You know, I don't care what it looks like somebody has on the surface. I guarantee you that person is going through something, man. We all going through something at the end of the day. You know, that's why I don't like when people compare their lives to the next person, man. You know, and they say such and such got this, they shouldn't be complaining, or they shouldn't be like, come on, man. You can have all the material possessions in the world, man. That's not going to necessarily heal the mental. It's not going to heal any internal situation that you got going on that you have intended to, man. You know, so again, I don't care how much money a person has. I don't care what type of house they live in. I don't care how many cars they got. I don't care how many women they messing with. Like, I don't care what their situation is, bro. If they have neglected issues from the past, they suffering. Lover boy Troy, peace. What's happening? What's the word? Sharif in peace. What's happening? You know, so I don't care. I don't care what somebody has on the surface. I don't care about material possessions, man. You can have all of that and still be miserable. I know plenty of people like that, man. I know plenty of people in that boat, man. And a lot of times I just keep it real, man. Like, a lot of people may look at my situation and think I'm supposed to be happy-go-lucky, man. I still got things that I'm dealing with from way back in the day. King Ramsey, peace, what's happening? Way back in the day, man, things that I got to come to grips with, man. Like, that stuff that just don't heal overnight. You know what I'm saying? Like, for real, man. People look at your situation and be thinking that you don't have anything to complain about because you got a few things that they may not have. Different ball game, man. I got different problems, you know, and I don't like when people do that, man. I don't like when people do that at all. Well, you got X, Y, and Z, you should be good. Nah, it don't work like that, man. It does not work like that. Y'all don't know what type of life I lived back in the day. Y'all don't know the type of person I was back in the day. Y'all don't know the things that I did back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So, again, we all got our little, you know, problems and issues and things from the past that still haunt us to this day. You know, and that stuff doesn't just heal overnight because you acquired a few things in life, you know. If it worked like that, that would be cool. The world would be in a much better place. But unfortunately, that's not how the game goes. You know, unfortunately, man, it's an inside job. When you striving to heal yourself internally and mentally, that's exactly where you got to do it. Internally and mentally. That's how it's got to go. Like, that's the source of it. You know, you trying to indulge in external pleasures to heal something that started internally. So you got to get it from where it started. You got to get it from the origin. If the origin of that pain is internal, then that's how you got to treat it. You got to treat it from the origin. You got to treat it from the root. You know, it's an internal pain. It's an internal situation. So that's how you're going to heal it and reverse it. You gotta dig deep internally. But again, we overindulge in the external pleasures, man. We eat, we get lost in sex, you know, watching TV, just all type of stuff, man, to try to distract us from the work that we need to do internally, man. And that's why a lot of us are walking around broken, man. A lot of us are walking around, you know what I'm saying, in that state, you know, and I'm one of them, you know, and that's why I'm constantly doing the work on myself. Clocks in, peace, what's happening? That's why I'm constantly doing that type of work on myself, man, so I can get to the bottom of certain feelings and emotions and things like that, man. It's a whole entire process, man. A lot of times, like I said, people are just striving to distract themselves from that. You know, they running from themselves. I'm not one that likes to run from myself, man. So I tend to embrace those feelings, man, so I can really see where they are stemming from, so I can get to the bottom of it. Dappy Ted, peace, what's happening? Gotta get to the bottom of these situations, man. Like I said, I did some things, man, said some things to, I didn't have situations, man, where I didn't, you know how people say, I don't know if you all have situations like this, man, but you all know how when people die and the last conversation that you had with them was not good. Like, I got situations like that. I'm a young bull, man, and I disrespected some elders, man. Next thing you know, they dead. It's like that type of stuff. That type of stuff doesn't just leave. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was ruthless, man. I didn't disrespected some elders, man. Was going crazy. They said something, ain't like I went off, said all type of stuff to them. Then next thing you know, they not here anymore. It's like that. That type of stuff don't sit well with you. Even when you were young, you know what I'm saying? When you were a young bull. So I the guy had situations like that. It's like, man, you got to come to terms with stuff like that. Yeah, Dominique, for sure. Most definitely. And like I said, man, you got to look at things for like what they are. You got to look at people for who they are, not what you want them to be. You know, same with the world, same with reality. Look at it for what it is, not what you feel like it should be. You know, don't be trying to shift reality. But I didn't been in situations like that, man. Nappy Ted, my brother, appreciate that donation. But man, I didn't been in them situations, man. Your last conversation you had with a person that was deceased was trash. And that was you can't do that. You know what I'm saying? You can't go back and talk to that person again. Like, that's over and done with. Shantae, Peach Queen, what's happening? You know, and I always talked about dealing with anger, like anger management, things like that, man. I always had short temper, man. Don't take much for me to be irritated and annoyed. I'm talking about it does not take much at all. Like, especially back in the day, like you just breathe the wrong way around me. And I'm like, why are you breathing like that? Like, it didn't take much for me to get like upset back in the day, man. And that's why a lot of times around the neighborhood, a lot of the older kids would always try to get me to fight certain people because they know like my temper, things like that. So they knew that they can get me started and then boom, they can have a fight on their hands. You know, so I always been dealing with these type of issues, man. And you got to try to get to the root of the issue. Like, man, for as long as I can remember, I always had this temper for as long as I can remember. So it's like you got to keep asking yourself, man, where does this stem from? Where does this stem from, man? It's like I don't remember where it stems from because I probably blocked it, suppressed it. So I got to keep asking myself questions, man, so I can get to the bottom of that particular issue. You know, I don't know if anybody else deals with bad temper, you know, anger issues, but I definitely did, and I definitely still do. You know, I'm always working to keep that temper under control. It ain't that easy, but I maintain, and I strive to put in the work. And if I slip up, I balance it out. Clocks in for sure. And like I say, man, a lot of people, man, just don't understand it, man. You know, a lot of people don't understand it. That's why a lot of times, just honestly, I'm not one of the individuals that I don't get a kick out of really talking about my problems to other people. You know, that doesn't necessarily make me feel good. What makes me feel good is when I get to the bottom of my problems, like when I ask myself questions and things like that, when I deal with it solo dolo. That's when I feel good about it. Like when I just vent to somebody and I just throw all of my bad energy out on them, I don't feel good about that. Like, I actually feel worse when I do that, because now I feel like I just brought that person down. So I don't really feel like venting and telling other people my problems don't really make me feel good. So I'm not one that can just talk to somebody and be like, all right, I feel good. Like, other people be like, oh, you just need to talk to someone. Like, that ain't never really helped me. Like, nah, when I vent and I just lay all my negativity out or my frustrations out on somebody, I actually feel worse, because now I feel like I just brought them down. And I ain't really want to do that, you know? So I'm only cool when I'm solving problems by myself, like those type of problems. And it takes a while for people to understand that. Like, I don't mean no harm. I'd rather not present this energy to you. Because for one, when I present this energy, I don't really want you, like, sometimes, you know how when a person just needs somebody to listen to them and things like that, like, that's it. Like, I don't really need for you to try to guide me in this type of situation. So that's why that's another reason why I don't really be caring to vent too, because I just don't need your opinion on it, man. Like, and most of the times when I would try to vent, then that's what's gonna happen. So I'm gonna solve the problem, I'm gonna be all right. So a lot of times I just deal with this stuff solo dolo for the most part, you know, again. And this ain't to speak bad about anybody in my life. It's just I've always been that way. I feel like that's the best way for me to solve a problem that I'm dealing with internally. I'm the only one that can get to the source or get to the root of the problem. Nobody else can do that. So when I know that to be an actual fact, that's how I deal with my situation. That's how I deal with my situations. I don't care to just vent and just let the stuff out and put all that energy out on somebody and then walk off. Like, all right, cool, I vented, that person listened, and now we good. Other people, they cool with doing that. It makes them feel better. Not me. Not me. Shantae, hey, for sure. Some people do deserve it. Now, in my case, you know what I'm saying? It was an older lady, man. She ain't even do nothing to me, man. She told me to do something I was supposed to be doing. This was back when I was young, though. You know, back when I was way young. She just told me to do something I was supposed to be doing anyway, man. I was just being disobedient. Went off, bowed. Next thing you know, boom. Not here any longer. Dominique, for sure, you know. And that's why, like I said, a lot of times, man, I'm just cooling, you know, just like let me get to the bottom of my own issues, because I'm the only one that can do that. You know, again, I'm the best knower of self. You are the best knower of self. And that's how I maneuver through life. You know, I just got to ask myself the questions, man. And when I ask myself the questions, I'm going to get the signs. I'm going to get led in a certain direction and things like that, man. So that's how I tend to operate. Again, nothing externally can solve your problems. Nothing. Even if you go to like therapy, man, like do the knowledge to it. Even if you go to therapy, that's an external circumstance, man. But the only way that the only way that therapy is going to actually work is if you allow it to work. So again, that's internal. You have to allow it to work. You know what I'm saying? You have to give them permission to get all up in your space. You know what I'm saying? You have to allow that therapy to work. You have to allow that therapist to do his or her job. If you don't allow it, if you don't accept it, then it's not going to work. So again, that's still letting you know that everything is an inside job when it comes to solving these problems, even if you go to therapy, even if you're talking to somebody. You know what I'm saying? You got to allow that person to help you. So at the end of the day, it's still on you. No matter what problem you're dealing with, it's on you to resolve it, because you got to give these people permission to do their job. You know what I'm saying? You got to allow them in. If you don't, then again, nothing is getting solved. Nothing is getting fixed. So at the end of the day, it's on you. Big Smooth, peace, what's happening? Like, at the end of the day, it is all on you. You got to give folks permission. You got to allow these people to do their jobs. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't, nothing is getting solved. Nothing is getting fixed. So again, nothing externally can solve your internal problems. Nothing. Nothing. It's all on you. It starts with you. It's an inside job. And that's just what it is. That's just an actual fact. You know, and again, that's why I say isolation is medication. Isolation is medicine. The only way that you can really tap in internally is to remove distractions from your life. You know, not talking to people, getting away from the music, getting away from the television, getting away from these books. You got to isolate yourself, and that way you can tap in. You can tap in internally. You can tap in with the mind. You can tap into those thoughts, emotions, and feelings and really get to the bottom of a lot of your issues, man. But if you can't continue to place yourself around these distractions, you're not going to get to the bottom of anything. You're not going to get to the root. You're not going to get to the source, the origin of anything at all. Not even going to come close. Not even going to come close to it. But yeah, Dominique, for sure, man, I be trying to, like, you know, I'd rather just not say anything to you than supply you with some terrible energy. Because I know how that feels when it happens to me, when somebody just hit me with all type of negativity, and then it's like they just walk off. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's not a good feeling. You just feel like, hey, you just gonna hit me with all of this and then leave? Like, that's not cool, man. So I don't try to do that to anybody else. You know, I'm not just gonna hit you with a bunch of negativity and then, all right, thank you. You know, thank you for just taking in all my negative energy. You know, that's kind of selfish to me, you know, so I'd rather not do that. If I'm going to talk to you about what I got going on, then I'm going to make sure I'm going to talk to you about, like, solutions, what I plan on doing. I'm not just going to hit you with a bunch of complaining and a bunch of negativity and I don't have any solutions. So then that's when I'm going to have a conversation with a person. All right, man, this is what I'm dealing with, but here's what I'm going to do to reverse it. Here's what I'm going to do to solve it. That's how I'm going to go about it, instead of just slapping you over the head with all of my problems and then just expecting you to just listen, or forcing you to try to listen to all of my problems. Like, nah, that's selfish, man. I talk about my problems, but then I'm also talking about what I plan on doing about them. So I'm not just going to leave it there at the negativity. I ain't doing that. Like, that's a little selfish, man. That's a little selfish. I get it. Sometimes people just need to vent, but man, I ain't about to be no punching bag, man. I ain't about to be no emotional punching bag to where every time you got something you want to get off your chest, I'm that person, I'm that guy. No. So I don't treat people like that. So I would expect, or I would respect it if people didn't treat me like that, you know. So I be trying to dodge that. I be trying to dodge it on both ends. I be trying to dodge doing it, and I be trying to dodge being the recipient of it. You know, because it's not a good feeling. It's not a good feeling, man, especially when you are solution oriented and then people they don't really want to hear solutions. And I get it, because you just need somebody to listen to you. But all right, you come into me 5 times, man. At some point, we got to start building on how we going to fix it. At some point. Air view, 100%. 100%. Like I say, you consume it. You know what I'm saying? That's food, man. Like, that's mental food. When you having a conversation with somebody, that's food, man. You eating it up, you digesting it, man. All of that, man. You know, you consuming that, man. It's assimilating. You know, all of that is happening, man. It is food. Jazz, peace, what's happening? But yeah, it's all food, man. When you have a conversation, that's food. Mental food, what they say, food for thought. So you consuming that, man. So I equate that to just eating toxic foods, man. When you eat bad food over time, guess what happens to you? Your health starts to decline. So when you continue to entertain a bunch of negative people, man, your health gonna start declining. You know, if all you doing is surrounding yourself with people that's speaking negatively about themselves, life, and all of that, man, like, that's going to take a toll on you. That's the same as if you consuming nothing but junk food, man. You consuming junk conversations. Like, I don't have time for that. You know, eventually that's going to cause my health to decline if every day I'm having a junk food type or junk food caliber conversation with a person. It's not healthy. It's not healthy. All right, for sure. And you know, don't even get me started on them Catholic priests and whatnot, and those confessional booths. You know what I'm saying? And how they be touching the little boys out here. Don't even get me started on that. But yeah, for sure. You know, again, like I said, I don't be meaning no harm to folks, but it's like, man, I'm the only one that can solve this problem. Because I'm the only one that can get to the source, man. I'm the only one that done been with me for my whole life. You know what I'm saying? I'm the only one that done been with me for my whole entire life. Nobody else has been with me my whole entire life. Not even my moms, man. Not even my moms, not my pops, nobody. I'm the only one that has been with myself for my entire life. So I'm the only one that can really get to the root of these problems. Hey, Jazz, let's get it. Let's get it. Like I said, I had my bananas, just finished my workout, so we good. CCP, Queen, what's happening? So yeah, I don't be wanting people to try to come with it, because a lot of times what happens, and rightfully so, but a lot of times, man, when you going through something, the first thing that people tend to do, which I cannot stand this, but the first thing that people tend to do when you start talking about what you going through, they always make it about them. Well, yeah, I went through something similar. I went through this same thing happened to me, and this is what I don't want to hear that. No offense, I don't want to hear that. Like, if I'm telling you what I'm going through, I don't care that you went through this. That's not making me feel better about the situation. I really can't stand when people say that. I can't stand when the conversation goes there. When I tell you what I'm going through and then you tell me, oh yeah, man, when such and such died in my family, I don't want to hear that. Oh yeah, my granny passed to it. Like, I didn't just want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just don't be wanting to hear that, man. I don't want you to make this about you when I'm supposed to be venting and getting something off my chest. I ain't asking you what you went through, man. You didn't had your time to tell me that. Now this is me. I got the floor. I'm venting. Don't tell me about you going through the same thing. I just don't want to hear that. I might be one of the chosen few that operate like that, but that doesn't really do much for me. I cannot stand when people actually do that. Like, just do not do that. If that's what you about to say to me, you might as well keep that to yourself. But most people tend to do that, right? Like I said, rightfully so. They're going to try to find a point in their life when they experience something similar. Like, we not the same people, man. So, again, how you dealt with something is definitely probably not going to work for me. We two totally different individuals, man. And I know I'm not the only one that went through what I'm talking about, so I already know that. It's like, duh, I get it. Somebody even went through the same thing I'm dealing with. But I got to deal with it how I'm going to deal with it. So I don't really need to hear about your experience, man, unless I asked you. And that's another thing, man. People volunteer this type of information when you didn't ask them. Like, I didn't ask you, have you went through something similar? If I wanted to know if you went through something similar, I would have asked you. So I don't like when people start volunteering information to me, man, when I'm venting and I'm not asking them any questions, man. Like, only give me that information if I ask you, when I'm actually venting to you, when I'm actually, like, dropping these bombs on you. Like, if I don't ask you anything, then of course I don't want to hear it. But people don't be understanding that. Oh, Sharif, man, let's get it. Let's get it, man. Y'all already know, man. I was on my strength training vibe, man. Some heavy deadlifts, bent over rows, curls. We was rocking. We good. But, in this day and age, man, most people that you come across, they not really good at listening. Listening, like I said, man, that's a skill. That's a lost art, lost science. Most people are trash when it comes to actually listening. Most people are trash, and that's another reason why it's just like, I'm cool. I don't really want to lay all this down on somebody, man, because they really not listening, because most people are not really good at that job, So again, I'm gonna listen to myself though. I know I'm gonna do that. So again, that's why that's always been my method. That's always been my method, man. I'm gonna deal with my problems, and I'm gonna solve the problems. Best believe if I'm going through something, I'm gonna conquer it, man. I'm gonna conquer it. Just give me time, man. It might not be that fast. It might not be quick. It might not be overnight, but eventually I'm going to muscle through it. I'm going to overcome that obstacle. Oh, Abbott, man, most people need to get better at listening. Like, just being real in the field, most people could afford to get better at listening. Most people can afford that, man. Most people are horrible when it comes to listening, man. That's just the average person that you come across has terrible listening skills. It's rough. It's rough, man. And I don't like it, man. When I'm having a conversation with a person and I know that I'm listening and they don't, you know what I'm saying? They don't reciprocate that energy, man. That again, it frustrates me. Like I said, I have this temper issue, so it doesn't take much. But I feel like a lot of things that frustrate me are like warranted, man. It's like simple things like that. I feel like that's a lack of respect. When I'm listening to you and then when it's my turn to talk, you not listening, you cutting me off, like that's a lack of respect for me. So I feel like, man, my frustration is warranted. I don't know how to be peaceful in that situation. Like, dude, if I listen to you for 20 minutes, you can't listen to me for 2 minutes. That's a lack of respect, man. I have a problem with that. So that now now I'm ready to go off. Like, dude, don't cut me off. Let me finish my sentiments fully like I allowed you to do it. So I be having problems with things like that, man. Oh, Jazz, for sure. Listening to your own body, listening to your own mind, what they call it, intuition, things like that, gut feeling, all of that. When you listen to self, like that's where everything should start. Just listening to yourself. Listening to yourself. Which again, that's the proof that most people are bad listeners. Because how many people listen to their bodies? Look at all of these diseases and these ailments that we're suffering from. We are suffering from all of these ailments because we're not listening to our bodies. So that right there is the proof that people are bad listeners, man. They're not even listening to their own bodies. Hence why diabetes, cancer, heart attacks, hypertension, all of these things are skyrocketing, continuing to increase. They're not going down. They're not decreasing. They're not declining. They increasing. They inclining because people are not listening. They're not listening to themselves. They're not listening to their body when they eat that junk food and they get a headache instantly. They're not listening to the body when they eat this food and their stomach hurt. That's you not listening. That's you not listening. You literally not listening. Your body said, hey, why you eat that? Here goes a headache. Don't ever eat that again. We say, oh, no, that ain't what caused it. I must be sleepy. I must be tired. No, it's because you ate that toxic food. That triggered the headache. But nah, you ain't listening. You ain't listening. So that's the proof right there, man. That's the main proof. The main proof that shows and proves people do not listen is the fact that they don't listen to their own selves. Real simple. Like, you don't listen to your own self. How many times have people went against that gut feeling? How many times have you heard somebody say, man, I knew I shouldn't have went to such and such? How many times were you in school was like, and you took a test and you got the test back and you was looking at some of the questions like, man, I knew I should have went with A instead of C. How many times have you done that? Man, we don't be listening to ourselves, man. Again, we be knowing. We be knowing. That's why it's always funny. We be needing people on the outside to confirm some stuff that we already knew on the inside. We just did not listen to it. You need somebody on the outside to tell you something that you already told yourself 10 years ago. You just didn't listen. If you just would listen to yourself, man, everything will work out smoothly, man. If you listen to that gut feeling, that intuition, man, when you get the dream, you know what I'm saying? Like when things start lining up. It ain't a coincidence. You know what I'm saying? Like these things are lining up like this for a reason. But you're not listening though. You're not paying attention. You're not focusing. Again, these are problems that we have. Attention span is garbage. It's very short. We're not really good at listening, man. We're not good at listening, paying attention, and focusing. We suck. Like the concentration is terrible. We can't focus on one thing at a time. We gotta be looking at 6 or 7 different things. Rapidly shifting our focus. Like, man, we can't focus, we can't concentrate, we can't listen. This is dangerous, man. It's a dangerous society that we in. It's a very dangerous society that we in, man. When you look at the lack of concentration, the lack of focus, man, the lack of listening that's going on, man. It's very troubling, to say the least. Very troubling, man. And these are things that I'm working on, man. Just listening better. Even though I feel like I'm a solid listener, but there's always room for improvement. Just working on concentrating more, focusing. Like, all right, man, I'm going to do this one thing, and this is all I'm going to focus on for this 30 minutes or this hour. I'm going to just focus on writing for this 30 minutes and this hour, no distractions. I ain't going to look at this phone. I ain't going to touch this book. I ain't going to have this conversation. You know what I'm saying? I'm just going to focus on this thing for a whole hour. Man, you will be very efficient at that point, man. Instead, hey, I got 6 things right here. I'm about to try to do all these 6 things in an hour. Like, that's trash, man. It's low quality. Low quality. And that's how a lot of us are functioning. That's not a healthy way to be functioning, man. So, hey, we gotta step it up, man, when it comes to just learning how to concentrate, learning how to focus, learning how to listen, man. Those are areas where we could definitely improve collectively. Airview for sure, you know. And like I said, man, I've been told that I'm a good listener, but I already know. You know, I never settle. So I always I know that I always have room for improvement. My room for improvement, when it comes to listening, is when it's a passionate conversation or it's a heated conversation. Then it's like my temper might get the best of me then, or the passion might get the best of me then, and my listening might go out the window. You know, that's when that happens. Like, that's what I know I can work on that. When the conversation is something I'm passionate about, and somebody is saying something that I don't necessarily agree with when it's something I'm passionate about. It's like at that point, man, my listening might go out the window. So that's where I can afford to work on that aspect, man. Like if I'm passionate about it and you saying something that's crazy, man, I might not ever let you finish a thought, man. So I'm working on that. I'm definitely working on that. Like, I'll be ready to spaz out, man. Like, if, for instance, like being a vegan and somebody trying to tell me, you know, I need to eat some meat for protein, man. It's like, man, at that moment, I'm ready to go off. Like, I don't care what you about to say after that, because now I feel like you done just lost all credibility because you said something to me that was foolish. You know what I'm saying? So I'm ready to go off. I'm finna unleash on you. I'm finna give you all type of information to let you know how wrong you are, and I don't really want to hear what you got to say after that. So after you tell me something that's kind of silly, man, I'm ready to go. I don't want to hear anything you got to say after that. Now I'm tuning you out. But that may be justifiable. But I know that I ain't finna be operating like that all the time. But man, somebody say something silly to me, man, I'm ready to go off at that point. You know, so that's what I'm working on in regards to just listening. It's like, man, let me really understand why you feel this way. And primarily you feel this way from it's ignorance, lack of knowledge. You don't have the information. You don't have the information in regards to why that's false. So you just speaking according to what you've been taught, what you know. So understanding that, I shouldn't be ready to spaz out like that. You know what I'm saying? But I'll be ready to spaz. I'll be ready to go off. Like, don't come to me like that, especially when it's something that I've been living for a very long time. It's like, nah, you finna get all this information. You about to get this heat. You about to get this work and this smoke. All of that. You about to get all of that intense energy, you know? So definitely working on keeping that in check when a conversation like that. Just being more understanding that this person just does not know. They just don't know. You know, so I ain't about to lash out on them because they don't know. You know, I'm just about to educate them, give them some information, give them some sources. That's it. Then we're going to keep it pushing. If they choose to ignore the information or the sources, then that's on them. But I did my duty. I did my duty. You know, so I'm working on all of that, man. Like patience, you know, just working on being more patient, even though I feel like I'm decent with it right now, but just working on being more patient. So these are qualities, man, I feel like everybody should just work on, man. Focusing, just being able to concentrate, being able to listen, patience, all of these things, man. When you master these traits, your life will become more simple, man. You know, that'll help with discipline and things like that, man. Just being able to concentrate and focus, being able to listen when you need to listen. Like, all of these things will help with that discipline, being patient. You know, understanding that the process is not going to be perfect. Understanding the process is not going to be smooth. You know, you're going to have to take some detours and things like that. You know, you may have mapped it out to go this way, but then you might have to turn it around and go that way. You know, so things like that, man. Understanding that things may not go as planned. Like, that's patience, man. Like, all right, it's a million different ways to get to this location. I plan on going this route, but I might have to travel. I might have to go the long way because they got this way blocked off. But this long way is cool, though, because I'm going to still get to that destination. Like I said, to get to my gym from where I live, I can go a few different ways. It ain't just one way to go. You know what I'm saying? One way might be longer than the other, but either way I go, I'm going to still arrive at the same destination. So that's like life, man. It's like if you got a goal that you want to get to, it's like, all right, the path that you want to embark on might not be the best way to get there. So you might start off and you might have to be like, all right, man, they doing some construction right here. So, man, we're going to have to take a detour, go this way. And that might be the best way for you. So when you CEO Peace, what's happening? So when you understand that, man, again, life is easier to deal with, man. Like, life is very easy to deal with when you start understanding those things. A lot of times, man, if it ain't going according to our script and plan, we be feeling some type of way. We be ready to throw the whole goal away because it's not going according to our script. It's not going according to how we mapped it out. Don't do that, man. It's a lot of different ways to get to that. It's a lot of different ways to get to that goal. A lot of different ways to get to that destination, man. Hey, and even sometimes the destination might change, man. You might be traveling, you might be like, man, I want to go here, but then you might start seeing some other destinations along the way. Like, man, I might settle here right quick. You know what I'm saying? So everything, it might change. Everything is subject to change, man. Everything is subject to change, man. That's the only thing that's constant in this universe is change. So you might have a destination in mind, and you might get to this destination and realize, man, this ain't what I thought it was supposed to be. So let me go somewhere else. Or you may not even reach the destination and be like, man, I was on my way to this destination, but man, I stopped at this spot, man, and this is where I wanted to be. This is where I want to be. This is where I need to be. You know, being swift and changeable, man. But a lot of folks, man, when things ain't going according to their script, you know, when they're playing, man, they just can't take it. They can't handle it. They start going crazy. Like, nah, man, you can't be operating and functioning like that, man. This world outside of your perception is very unpredictable. So it's no telling what you're going to come across. It's no telling what you're going to come across on a day-to-day basis, man. A lot of these things are outside of your control. A lot of these things, man, the only thing you can control, again, is how you perceive it. That's the internal work. You know? So, again, when something unpredictable happens, when you got to deal with a death in the family, you weren't able to control that. You know what I'm saying? Your cousin had a heart attack. You weren't able to control that, but you got to go deal with it, though. And that may cause you to detour from your actual, you know what I'm saying, from your path, from your destination, from the journey. Like, you might have been moving a certain type of way, but then, boom, family member done passed, and now you got to go backwards. Like, man, I got to go back this way. And we got to deal with that. It's not the end of the world, fam. It's not the end of the world at all, man. Like anything that you're dealing with, man, it's like you might be dealing with a certain ailment or something that you didn't necessarily include in your plan. It's not the end of the world. It's like, all right, man, do what you need to do to reverse it. Do what you need to do to center yourself, get your health back in order, and then it's like back to it. Like, straight up, man. Like, again, things are gonna happen that you don't plan for, man. It's inevitable, man. It's inevitable with this unpredictable world that we live in. It's inevitable that, all right, man, you're going to map out something and then, boom, some X, Y, and Z going to happen. It's inevitable, man. So don't let that cause you to throw everything away, throw everything out the window, man. That's not what you need to do. That's not what you need to do. That's not going to too much solve anything. You know, just keep it pushing, man. It's like, all right, man, we're going to go back. We're going to travel back to the crib. We're going to deal with this, and then, boom, it's back on the journey, back on it. Back on it. We gonna get back on the road, you know. We left something this way. We had to go back and retrieve it, and now we back. Now we back on it. It's gonna take us a little bit longer to get there, but we cool though. You know, you was traveling, man. You left your wallet at the crib. It's like, all right, man, I'm going back to get the wallet, but we back on this road. Took us an hour to go back and get it, but man, all right, we good. So we had to set ourselves back an hour, but we still on the mission. We still on the journey. We still on the road. You know, so that's how we gotta move, man. That's how you gotta get through life, man. We be letting the unpredictability of life just throw us all the way off, destroy us. Like, nah, I ain't gonna operate like that, man. I understand that outside of myself, man, it's gonna be some things that happen that I didn't account for. It's gonna be some things that happen that I ain't necessarily want to happen, but they gonna have to happen anyway. You know, that I gotta deal with. So when the time comes to deal with them, I'm gonna deal with them. I'm going to deal with it. I ain't going to run from it. I ain't going to run from the possibility of something inevitable happening. You know, that's what we be tending to do, man. It's like it's some inevitable things that's going to happen that you're going to have to deal with. Again, that's why I'm able to deal with death better than most people, because I understand that we all going to have to go, man. You know what I'm saying? It's tragic how some people got to go, but we all got to go. Ain't none of us going to live forever in the physical realm. You know what I'm saying? It's not happening. So again, that's something that's inevitable. People gonna have to go, and we're gonna have to deal with it when the time comes. Tab, peace, what's happening? That's life, man. I ain't finna run from that. So you must include that, man. You know, in your journey, man, so people gonna pass. Loved ones gonna pass. It's gonna happen. So when it happens, how you gonna deal with it? How is that gonna affect your journey? How is that going to affect your process? You know? That's stuff that we don't plan for. That's stuff that when it happens, it throws us all the way off, throws us out of whack. It's like, nah, man, that's gonna happen, man. Especially if you the youngest one, like, man, listen, you supposed to outlive everybody, man. So it's gonna come a point in time where all these people gonna pass away and you gonna be left standing. That's how life is actually supposed to work, you know? So these things gonna happen, man. A lot of times people don't want to think about these things. That's too pessimistic. Nah, it's reality. It's being real. It's being real. It's understanding, man. All right, this is inevitable, man. You know, we can't run from the inevitable. You can't. I don't care how fast you're going. I don't care how hard you're trying to run away from the inevitable. You can't do it. Can't do it. So you might as well include that in the plan, include that in the strategy, man. Include that in the process. You might as well. You might as well, man. That's why I'm able to deal with a lot of these things that happen in life the way I'm able to deal with them, man. Because again, I understand that this is a part of life, and I understand that this stuff is it can happen at any moment. You know what I'm saying? Somebody can pass away at any moment from any given circumstance, man. It's possible. Again, I'm not putting it in the atmosphere saying I wish it happens at any given moment. Like, nah. I'm saying it's very much so a possibility, man. So again, what they say, stay ready so you ain't got to get ready. That's just how it is, man. You understand that anything is possible, man. Anything is possible, man. So again, I'm always ready. I'm always ready. I don't live in the fantasy land thinking that something can't happen to somebody. You know, something can happen to anybody, including yourself. None of us are invincible. No matter what type of philosophy we try to spit out into the atmosphere, none of us are invincible. So again, that's life. That's life, and that's how I'm able to maneuver, cope with life, man. Like straight up, man. Like I ain't running from no inevitable, man. It's gonna happen. When it happens, this how I'm gonna deal with it. This how it's gonna work out. You know, I'm probably gonna have to take a few weeks off from a situation, get myself together, get the mental right. Things like this is how you able to map these things out, man. Include that in your journey. You know what I'm saying? Include that in your process. But a lot of people, man, they fail to do that, man. Rightfully so, but we gotta start mapping those things out. We gotta start planning for those things, man. You know, we gotta do it, man. You gotta include everything. You know, when you mapping out a process, man, you gotta include everything. You gotta factor in everything. You know, just straight up. Straight up. And that's how you get to the bottom of even healing yourself. Mapping out everything. Don't leave out details, man. Things like that, man. When you asking yourself questions, and you receive signs, you receive answers, you receive dreams, whatever, man, you got to include all the details, man. You got to keep that notepad, you know, by the side of your bed when you wake up from that dream. And you got to map out everything, every detail in that dream that you can remember. It's all important. You know, all the little small details. The small details are not so small. They all are significant, man. So you can't leave out any details, man. When you trying to solve problems, when you trying to heal, when you trying to conquer a goal, anything, man, do not leave out any detail. It's all important. So the one that you might consider small, the detail that you might consider small, and you be like, man, I don't necessarily need to include this one. Like that's the most important one. That's the most important detail, and you intentionally left it out. Like, don't leave out anything, man. Whatever you can remember. All right, man, I asked myself a question. I had a dream. Let me map out everything I remember from this dream. Everything. Small details, man. Let me see. It was these colors were in the dream. That's important. Write down what colors you saw. That's important. Why I see these colors. You know what I'm saying? Why were these the colors that was most prominent in the dream? Everything, man. Include all those details, man. You know, when you trying to heal from some past trauma, include all the details, man. Why did I feel like this happened? How did this make me feel? Why did the person do what they did to me? Or at least, why do I think the person did what they did to me? Why did the family members think that I was lying? Like, we going to ask everything, man. Like, we going to ask everything, and then we going to try to answer it to the best of our abilities. And we going to, every detail, man, just every thought. You know what I'm saying? We going to make sure we include it. Get to the bottom of it, man. Deal with these situations, man. Deal with them circumstances. Deal with that trauma from the past, man. Deal with it. Deal with it. It happened to you. You survived it. So boom, now it's time for us to go ahead and conquer it. You know, it happened to us. We survived it. So now let's conquer this joint. so it can no longer bother us, so it can no longer cause our health to decline. It's time to conquer that, man. It's time to conquer the past trauma, man. It's time to conquer it. You know, and most of us are in that state. Most of us are in that mental space, man, where it's like a few things from the past, man, some trauma from the past that we continuing to suppress. We got to conquer that past trauma, man. That's where a lot of us are at right now. You know, I'm in this boat with y'all, man. We trying to heal from that past trauma, man. It's a whole entire process. It's a whole entire process. It don't happen overnight. Don't take a week, man. It could take years, man. It might take you your whole entire lifetime to learn how to manage the trauma that you went through, depending on what you went through. So it could take that long. You know, but you gotta start. You gotta start somewhere, man. You gotta start somewhere, man. A lot of people don't even start. They just allow this past trauma to just continue to haunt them, continue to bring them down, and continue to cause their health to decline. The reason for cancers and things like that, man. Like I said in the one book I read, man, it was like one of the main causes of disease is unresolved conflicts. TRP, what's happening? And that's an actual fact. That trauma that you are failing to conquer is causing your, like, is opening you up, making you more susceptible to diseases. But of course, they're not gonna make that link. You know, of course they're not gonna do that. But that's right and exact, man. Like that trauma that you keep suppressing, those feelings, those emotions that you keep suppressing, man, that is causing your body to go into a state to where it's like, boom. It don't take anything for that cancer to hit you. It don't take anything, man. The environment, the inner environment is just right for that cancer to thrive. Those cancerous cells love that type of environment. Those cancerous cells love a toxic environment, you know? So when you suppress all that trauma from the past, that's the type of environment that you are creating internally, a toxic environment. And them cancerous cells, man, they thriving. They thriving. That's the perfect food for them. Outside of like sugar, processed like the refined sugar, man, like boom, that toxic environment, man, they thriving. They good. Kevin, you say, is it wise to take some of the secrets you have to the grave? I mean, it depends on what the secrets are. Like, at the end of the day, you don't really have to, like, I'm not saying not tell somebody something, but at the end of the day, when I talk about resolving conflicts, I'm talking about you resolving it. You know what I'm saying? So if you have a secret and at the end of the day, you deal with self and the conclusion that you reach is it's better for me not to tell this person this, and you have accepted that, then you good. But if you asking yourself and yourself keep telling you, man, let this person know, you got to tell this person. It's only right for you to tell this person that. And that's what you keep telling yourself, then you might have to go ahead and communicate with this person and let them know. Let them know this so-called secret. Man, these people over here, man, loud and talking is getting crazy. But yeah, Kevin, man, if you have reached that conclusion internally that it's like, all right, man, I'm gonna go ahead and like it ain't really that serious to be telling this person that, and that's your conclusion, and you satisfied, you good with that conclusion, hey, more power to you. But if it's haunting you, if it's a secret that's haunting you and your conscience is eating you up and it's like, man, you need to tell this person. You need to tell this person this said secret, man. Then you might have to go ahead and tell them, man, and clear the conscience. You might have to tell them, man. If your conscience is bothering you, then that means that that's something that you need to tell that person. Or else that's gonna kill you. That's gonna kill you, man. What, like holding on to something to where your conscience is bothering you, that will kill you, that will drive you crazy. That will literally drive you crazy, man. So I don't recommend that. Like if your conscience is letting you know, man, you need to tell somebody something, tell them. As painful as it may be to do it, man, you just got to go ahead and eat that. You got to bite that bullet, and you just got to go ahead and let that person know. Because last thing you want is something to be on your conscience heavily, man. You do not want that type of smoke. You don't want that type of problem. That is a terrible problem to have. Kevin, what you say? Could hobbies take the guilt away? No, sir, man. Again, that's that external pleasure. No hobby can do that. It can only put like a temporary band-aid on it. You know what I mean? Like that's it. the hobby is a distraction. So the hobby will temporarily take you away from the guilt, but it's almost like the people that try to drink the pain away or drink the stress away. You know, at the end of the day, you know what I'm saying, when the high wears off, when you're back sober, guess what? Those problems that you was trying to run from, they still there. Same thing with a hobby. You know what I'm saying? Whatever the hobby is, guess what? When you done indulging in the hobby, guess what? That pain is still there. The problem is still there. You ain't gonna indulge in this hobby 24/7. So the moment that you're not indulging in this hobby, man, the pain and the problem is still right there staring you right in the face. So nah, man, a hobby can't take away the guilt. No, not at all. It will temporarily distract you from it. That is all that it will do, but it will not take you away from the guilt. It will not take the guilt away, none of that. That will not happen at all, not even close. You know, that's all that is the distraction, and that's what most people do. They indulge in distractions to run away from the pain and run away from the guilt. That's it. They're going to go smoke. They're going to go drink. They're going to go play golf. They're going to go do X, Y, and Z. Whatever it is that they do, they're going to go do it. They're going to try to sleep it off. Like, nope, when you wake back up, guess what? Whatever you did, you still did it. I don't care what hobby you indulge. At the end of the day, when that hobby is done, whatever you did, you still did it. So you got to deal with all of these things internally. That's the only way. That's the only way. That's the only weapon that you have, man. Again, I don't care about any hobby, none of that. That will not solve a problem. That will not take away any guilt. That will not clear your conscience. Antonio, peace. What's happening? UFO, peace, peace. What's the word? What's happening? So the only way, man, to solve these situations, man, if you got any guilt that you're trying to rid yourself of, man, like, you can only do that internally. Like, ain't no hobby gonna solve that problem. Ain't no hobby gonna save you. Not at all. I don't care what the hobby is, man. It's not gonna save you. You know, and we got people, like I said, they run into the external pleasure. You know, they running towards sex. They running towards drugs. They running towards going on trips, like going to clubs, watching TV, like they running towards these things. Instead of like running toward the problem so they can run through the problem. Like, nah, I'm just going to overindulge in sex. I'm going to overindulge in drugs. I'm going to overindulge in eating this food. I'm going to overindulge, like all of that. Like, nah, man, that ain't solving the issue for you. That's actually making matters worse. And that's the last thing you want to do, is make matters worse for yourself. And that's what we do. You know, that's what we do. We tend to make matters worse for ourselves, man. Stop doing yourself like that, for real. You got a problem that you got to deal with that problem in isolation. Deal with that problem in isolation, man. I don't care how many weights I lift. I don't care how much running I do. At the end of the day, if I got something that I got to solve internally, there ain't enough working out I can do to help me with that. As far as like clearing it, eradicating it, like I can do that. Yeah, when I'm working out, it's helping temporarily. But when the workout is over with and it's about an hour or two, then here we go. I'm still dealing with the problem. The problem is still there. I couldn't deadlift that problem away. I couldn't burpee that problem away. I couldn't squat that problem away. Like, I can only solve that problem by digging deep internally. You know that's it. You know, and that's how I maneuver through life. So I'm not gonna be dependent upon some external pleasure of mine to solve an internal problem. I ain't gonna be able to do it. You know, that's how addictions start. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how addictions happen. That's how addictions manifest, man. When you dependent upon something, man, like you like how this made you feel, it temporarily took you away from your problem. But see, the thing of it is temporarily. So you trying to get away from it permanent. So it's like, dang, if I just stay high all the time, then that might be the solution. If I just drink my life away, then that might be the solution. Boom, now you addicted. Now you addicted. You know, you like how that felt, man. When you was on this drug, it took you away from your problems. You know what I'm saying? You was in this different space. So it's like, the more that I'm in this space, the less I have to tend to this problem. So I'm going to have to keep on indulging in this drug. Addiction. Every time I drink, then I don't think about my problem. So the more I drink, the less I think about this problem, the less I think in general. So let me overindulge in this drinking. Now I'm an alcoholic. Now I have a drinking problem. all because I'm running from myself. You know, that is how addiction manifests itself. People running from themselves. You know, running from themselves, man. We don't have time for that, man. We're not striving to be addicted out here, man. We're not striving to have a drinking problem. We're not striving to be alcoholics. We're not striving to be drug addicts. We're not striving to be addicted to the wrong foods. Like, that's a drug addict too. People hear drugs like it's drugs, chemicals in the food. So again, when you are an emotional eater, then that's what you are. You know what I'm saying? You what they call them a foodie and things like that, man. You eat. You know what I'm saying? When your emotions get the best of you, now all of a sudden you overweight, you obese. And you be like, oh, I don't know how I got here. Yes, you do. Yes, you do know how you got there. Magic Peace, what's happening? You know exactly how you put on those 20, 30, 40, 50 pounds. Every time you got in your feelings, instead of you dealing with those feelings, you ran to the kitchen. So you know what you was doing. You know what you was doing. Lindell Peace, what's happening? You know what I'm saying? You know exactly what caused that. You know exactly what you stop playing dumb. You know, I can't stand people do that. You know how you got to this space, man. You know how you got to being overweight, being obese, man. Again, when you got emotional, instead of you dealing with the emotions, instead of you solving this problem, you went right to the kitchen. You're like, I'm going to eat these chips. I'm going to eat this candy. I'm going to eat these cakes. I'm going to eat these snacks. I'm going to eat these cookies, all of that. I'm going to drink this soda. I'm going to do all of this nonsense that I'm not supposed to do. I'm going to drink this liquor. Boom. I'm going to do all of this. That's what you did. Now you're like, oh, man, now I'm 30, 40 pounds overweight. That's crazy. I don't know how this happened. Come on, man. You know how it happened. It didn't happen overnight. You didn't just wake up one night and then you had 50 more pounds on you. Don't work like that. Don't work like that at all. You know, so this is a gradual process, man. It's a gradual process, man, like the addiction. It's a gradual process, man. It had to start with one drink for you to become an alcoholic. You didn't just wake up one day. You didn't just wake up one day and you just started, you had 50 drinks. Like, nah, that ain't how that worked. It starts with one drink. Then you had that one experience and you liked it, and that led to number 2. You liked it again, so that led to number 3, and now here we go. Boom. But it started with that one drink. You know what I'm saying? It started with that one dose. You know, so it's real. That's how it starts. A gradual process, man. It's a gradual process. That's how addiction manifests itself gradually, man. But we act like the stuff be happening overnight. We act like we don't know. Again, you don't know how you became an alcoholic because you ignoring it. You running from yourself. You running from your problems. If you really did the knowledge to yourself, you would see, oh, I remember this one time that I went out, I had this drink and I enjoyed it. I liked the way it made me feel. So then, boom, when I went out again, I had 2 instead of 1 the last time. You were able to really pinpoint, get to the origin of your alcoholic problem. But you ask most people these days, they don't know. I don't know how I got here. I don't know how I ended up like this. You ain't doing the knowledge to yourself. You ain't studying yourself. You're not examining yourself. Antonio, for sure. Ain't nothing, man, listen. Gradual process, man. You know, gradual process. For some, unfortunately, it starts in the childhood because they not being fed properly as babies, you know, so that's another story. Big Smooth, put the Pepsi down, brother. Put the Pepsi down. Don't fool with them Pepsis, man. Put them down, man. Put them down. Drink you some water, man. Put them Pepsis down, fam. Hey, put them Pepsis down, my brother. But I feel you though. But yeah, man, it's a gradual process, man. That's how everything happens in life. Oh, Lindell, for sure. For sure. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you shake that water, bow, it explode on. I mean, not the water, but the soda. That mug go crazy on you. We done all had that type of experience. And Big Smooth, there you go. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it, Big Smooth, man. Let's get it, man. We rooting for you. You know what I'm saying? We rooting for you. UFO for sure, you know. I ain't even been on the bulking and cutting as of late. I just been on the strength training, 100%. Just building my strength up. That's what I've been on. Antonio, for sure. You know what I'm saying? Like we all got our vices that we gotta break. You know what I'm saying? So hey, we gotta break them vices, you know. Anything that's holding you back, man, from achieving that healthy state, man, you gotta deal with it. Deal with it and conquer it. Deal with it and conquer it, man. Straight up. Just like that. You gotta deal with it, conquer it. Boom. Can't allow these vices, man. Can't allow these things to control us. Can't allow these things to drive us through this wall. Like, nah, conquer that. This is tearing my health up, so I gotta master this. I gotta eliminate this from my life, because this is not adding on to my life. It's subtracting years from it. Like, nah, we can't have that. Anything subtracting years from the life, nah, I don't want it. But if it's adding on, all right, longevity. That's what we after. Boom. Let me deal with that. Let me build with that. Let me indulge in that. You know, I'm gonna indulge in something that's adding on, not subtracting. Like, that's how you gotta look at it. Like, you gotta ask yourself that question before you indulge. Is this adding on or is this subtracting? If the answer is subtracting, put that back on the shelf, fam. Put that back in the freezer, wherever you got it from. Put it back. Like, this is subtracting. This is no good. Boom, we gonna put this back up. Keep it pushing. It sounded good, but nah, we good on that, man. We trying to add on. We trying to, longevity is what we are after. Flat out. You know, we gotta be around, you know what I'm saying, for the younger generation, so that they will not be misled, you know, by these bloodsuckers, man. We can't allow the youth to be misled by the bloodsuckers, so they need those of us that are not afraid to speak the truth to power to be around. You know what I'm saying? So they need us to be around. So we can't be taking ourselves out. So we got to indulge in practices and activities that keep us around, so that we can guide them in the proper direction, because they need that guidance. But if we wiping ourselves out along with them wiping us out, then hey, all they have are the destructive influences, and therefore the cycle will continue. So we don't want that, man. We do not want that energy to continue to lead the future generations. So we just got to make sure we taking care of ourselves, you know, so we could be around to lead, to teach, to guide, you know, all of that type of good stuff, man. So again, anything that's subtracting, nope, put it back. If it's adding on, take it with you. Put it in that cart. Put it in that cart. 100%. But y'all, man, with that being said, man, I got a client that's about to walk in here, man, so I gotta get this gym a little ready. You know, I appreciate y'all tapping in for this build, man. Appreciate the donations, all that good stuff, man. I'll try to tap in with y'all again tomorrow. If not, it is what it is. But I appreciate y'all. It's always peaceful. It's always positive vibes, all that good stuff, man. If y'all ain't got y'all workout in, man, make sure y'all do that. Eat y'all some healthy foods, drink y'all some water, man, meditate, read a little book or something, write some things down, all of that, man. But I'm out. I'm going to try to catch y'all tomorrow. Y'all be easy. Peace.